Hi, my name is Nori Burkhart, and myself, along with Shelley Struther, are the group leaders for Talbot Youth Travel's 2019 trip to Belize in July. Before we get started, I do want to clarify that Talbot Youth Travel is not at all affiliated with Talbot County Public Schools. While Shelley and I are both teachers in the school system, this is a community organization that we do outside on our own to fulfill a need that we see to um, bring travel to our students. Um, the trip that we're doing in 2019 is titled Adventure in Belize. We chose this trip specifically because it is a rich mix of history as well as adventure. Belize is a country just south of Mexico with diverse ecosystems, diverse wildlife, and diverse cultures. However, students will feel comfortable that the official language in Belize is English, but many languages are spoken. While on tour, students will be enriched with authentic experiences that relate to many academic areas, but they'll also be creating memories that will last them a lifetime. Here you'll see our agenda for this video meeting. So we'll cover all of these different areas. Firstly, we'll talk about why travel is so important. And I also want to point out that many of the pictures that you're seeing are, in fact, the majority of the pictures that you're seeing are ones that I took or my husband or Shelley took while we are on tour in England or in Peru, which are the two that we've done previous to this one. So we were interested to start Talbot Youth Travel because when in 1994, way back when I was very young, um, I went on a tour like this myself. We went to Costa Rica, and it was an experience that stuck with me. It was the first time that I had been without my parents for an extended time, but I also had the safety of adults, trusted adults with me. Uh, so it was tethered independence that I thought was, looking back on it as an adult, I found very helpful. I was able to experience independence without my parents, but I still had the safety of adults there. And it's an experience that really did change the way that I look at the world, and it's definitely influenced who I am as an adult today. And that experience was so wonderful that I wanted to share that and bring that to my own students. Um, Generally speaking, travel with any students, whether it was Talbot Youth Travel or not, helps students to create that global perspective, helps them to understand the world beyond themselves, beyond Talbot County, beyond Maryland, beyond the United States, and see what's out there. It also helps create a sense of confidence that they can handle things that are unexpected, they can handle being on their own. And it also helps them to stand out on college applications and future career tricks. These are the things that they can write about in their college application essays. Things that specifically set Talbot Youth Travel apart from other groups that travel. Um, we don't leave families out. We meet with families regularly, um, pretty much a lot in the last that school year before we travel. We meet the last 6 months before we travel, probably once a month, and we guide families through every step of the experience from setting expectations for students, setting expectations for adults that choose to come along, how to pack, what to expect with the food, what to expect each day to look like. All of those steps we walk you through, and we help to create a sense of family and community in our group long before we ever step foot on an airplane. So that way, parents can trust us, and we have that trust in students because that mutual trust is very important as we travel abroad. Next, while we're on tour, you can see our lovely tour director that we had in Peru. Andres here is talking to the kids about some of the sites they're going to see that day. Specifically in this tour, I'm super excited about the adventures that we're going to go on. We're going to be visiting the Lamanai ruins. We'll be zip lining in Belize City, and I've already actually got a set up for one of our meetings to do some practice zip lining here locally. We'll be going to I'm going to try not to butcher this name, the Zutananich ruins, which you can see here in the middle picture. And we actually do get to climb up to the top of those and walk around the ruins, so it's not just pictures from afar. We'll be spending a day at the Ambergris Cay, which is a lovely oceanfront town. And then while we're in Belize, we'll also be doing the snuba experience. Snuba is a mix between snorkeling and scuba diving, and it allows you, as you can see in the picture, she's got the scuba suit on. She has the oxygen that you can see in the back here. It's kind of a mix where you get to actually swim in a coral reef and see a lot of a lot of sea creatures in their natural habitat, and it's very safe and exciting. We have traveling. Our travel partner for this tour is EF Tours. EF stands for Education First. I chose them because they are the group that is has actually started the idea of educational travel. They have, you can see on the slide here, they have over 50 years of experience, and they are an education company first. They are accredited by the same um, organization, the Middle States organization that accredits all of Maryland schools, which means that any credits that schools students earn while on tour will transfer. They also offer competitive pricing with no hidden fees, which I think is very important. A lot of the other places may appear cheaper at first glance, but you get hit with several fees throughout the experience, and I've not had that experience with EF. They offer a travel support team that at any time parents or students can call with questions, and I have a dedicated rep that works with me and other people in our area that I can also call with any questions. And if you look here, this is one of the things that I really like. They really are a global country. Every little pink dot on there on the map there indicates where EF has an office. So we will be right about here. So you can see that there are two offices pretty darn close to where we'll be. So not that I have ever needed one on tour, but if we did, we have one available to us. Safety is our absolute number one concern while we're on tour. For me, it overshadows even the educational aspect. I want to make sure that students are safe and adults, and everyone is absolutely safe. All of the adult chaperones commit to treating children as their own, in some cases probably better than our own. But here are some of the things that EF can guarantee as far as safety concerns. We will have 24-hour access to a bilingual tour director. He or she will be with us from the moment that we step off the plane and get our luggage to the moment we go back onto the plane, which is very nice. They stay with us in the hotels. They eat every meal with us. We are always with them. We also have chaperones. One of the things that Talbot Youth Travel has done specifically is that we have dedicated chaperones, meaning that we use the same core chaperones for every trip because our chaperones know how to manage a tour. We have experience and we all bring different strengths to the group. And that allows for us to take away from the adults getting to know each other, adults learning how to work with each other, and we can just keep our eyes on the kids, and we've got this kind of down to a science. Other things that we do, aside from EF's rules that you see and the things that they offer here, we make sure that students know that one of our biggest expectations is that anytime they are outside of their hotel room, they are expected to be in a group of 3 at the smallest. And we kind of always jokingly talk to students about the idea that the only time you're alone is when you're in the bathroom. We say it as a joke very often so that it's in their head, and once it's on tour, they get it. It becomes second nature in their head that they are not allowed to be alone. For safety checks, EF has recently instituted that all adults will go through a background check, which gives you that added level of security. And when we are on tour, adults will never walk into your child's room. When we do room checks every night, there are always 2 adults doing room check. So that way an adult is never alone with the child. And if for some reason an adult needs to enter a child's room, the parent will automatically be called. The next slide here is on benefits of group travel. Essentially, and you can see our group pictures, this is both of the top picture is of our England group and the bottom is Peru. Group travel allows EF the flexibility of keeping some tours affordable because they can match different schools up that are looking for similar things to base their pricing on a full bus. Because a lot of other tour groups, what they do is they tell you an initial price, and then when they can't fill the bus, it's up to your group to kind of differentiate the cost. EF doesn't do that. Now, I will say that we were lucky enough in Peru. As you can see, there are only our students there. We were lucky enough that we had a private group and we didn't have to pay the offset because we were the only group that wanted to go, and that's how EF does their pricing. So if there isn't another group that ends up matched with us, then that we don't have to cover the difference there. With our Rome group that is leaving this coming summer, we're over 30, I think we're at 36 travelers right now. So it's highly doubtful that we'll actually get another school because it would just have to be such a small group. In this one here, you can see that there's a group here from South Carolina, and then this group back here is from Pennsylvania. The really nice advantage for me at least was that I loved when we were in England listening to our kids talk to the Pennsylvania kids and the South Carolina kids about where they potential colleges, because both of those regions were close enough that our students were interacting and they were like, "Oh, have you checked out this school? Have you looked at this school?" And it was really nice for them to meet other kids and see the similarities and the differences in their regions, and especially talking about colleges. It was wonderful. So there's a little added perk there. Also included within the price of the plan, and this to me kind of goes along with safety, is the Global Protection Plan. This is a built-in travel insurance policy that Talbot Youth Travel makes mandatory on every trip. And this covers pretty much all of the unexpected issues. It includes any illnesses or accidents. I have had students get sick before we leave and they were unable to go. And the Global Protection Plan plans for that. And the student that wasn't able to go was able to get all of their money back minus the deposit. If for some reason our tour is canceled or interrupted, perhaps maybe there's a weather issue and we have to leave a day early, the Global Protection Plan covers that. It also covers if there is a weather issue and we have to stay an additional day, it will cover those hotel fees. Covers lost baggage, lost property, and it's always 24-hour access to an English-speaking representative, so we don't have any sort of language barriers there. This also covers if the unfortunate or the unexpected happens and as a parent you were to lose your job and no longer be able to afford the tour for your child, this is covered under that as well. So there's lots of things that are covered. In my follow-up email and a link on the Talbot Youth Travel site, I'll make sure that you have access to the full Global Protection Plan so that you can kind of read all the fine print with that. One of the other benefits of EF Tours is that they include the We Share experience. This is included within the cost, so I guess it's free in that it doesn't cost anything extra. This is what allows students to earn the opportunity for high school credit. The credit would be in global studies. Basically what they're doing is it's a little research project that they start before they go. While they're on tour, they investigate their research question. At home, they make a video project. Our students with their laptops are already adept at doing this, and they can earn credit for this video project. Additionally, students can also have the opportunity to win just by participating. They can win prizes like EF gear or even another tour, which is quite the incentive once they come home and they want to go again. EF has also recently started adding some college prep options, ways that they can help students kind of expand on their experience abroad into helping them get into a good college. So they do this new thing called the Uncommon app, which is it's a walkthrough to help students use their tour and craft it into a personal essay for the college admission. There is some sort of discount on professional essay coaching. I have personally not looked into it too much because this is relatively new, but the link is there. Students can also earn 3 transferable credits, meaning that they are through Southern New Hampshire University, and it's 3 credits in global perspectives. And I just looked up the cost of the credit. So as of today, to get 3 college credits, it's a total of $221, which is amazingly cheap. So I highly suggest that anybody that's thinking about doing that, go ahead and enroll in that college opportunity. So that one is it's $221 above the cost of the trip. But again, it's 3 college credits. They are accredited, so those credits will transfer to a school of your choice, or they should transfer to a school of your choice. Our travel window, as I've been saying, this is a July 2019 trip. And what we need to make sure is that because this is group travel, we have to have a flexible window. So we have requested July 9th through the 16th. However, mark your calendars for July 5th through the July 20th. So this is the absolute earliest day that we would leave, so your child will still get to see all their lovely fireworks and have the family barbecue. And this is absolutely the final day, last day that we could come back. We will know those final dates in late March of 2019. So they give us the magic window is about 100 days is when we find out our finalized dates, and then we will find out finalized hotel and flight or hotel information closer to like 60 or 75 days. But that it's important that when you are writing down in your calendar so that you can plan your family vacations, plan college visits, plan sports tournaments, things like that, that this is what you're planning for is July 5th through the 20th. And then once we have those official dates, then you can shrink that window. So now we're going to call into the cost of the trip, what's included and what's not. And you can see here our group from this past summer in Peru at the top of Machu Picchu in a reflection circle. This is probably the highlight of that trip for me. So these are all of the things that are included within the basic program price. It includes round-trip airfare on all major carriers. All of our international flights to date for us have been American Airlines. While we were in Peru, we did have one domestic flight from one section of Peru to another, and that was on Cusco Air, which is a major airline for Peru. It includes all on-tour transportation, so that includes includes the buses. It includes if for some reason we would need to take a van or a taxi. If there are subways, anything like that, all of that's included. It includes all of the hotels. They are safe American-style hotels. Each room has a private bathroom, which, if any of you have traveled abroad, is not always the case. We will have a full-time bilingual tour director, as we discussed earlier, and it includes the full educational itinerary, which is available on the Talbot Youth Travel site, and I have handouts as well if you need them. Sightseeing led by licensed local guides, so all of the guides that we use are professional tour guides that have taken exams in the areas that they're leading tours in, so they're not just some random person off the street. They are educated local guides. Includes the traveler support team so that we always have access to 24-hour access to anybody on tour. Breakfast and dinner is included daily. Typically, breakfast is the continental breakfast at the hotel. It ranges from hotel to hotel, but there's usually cereals, juices, bagels, toast. Some hotels will have eggs and bacon. It just depends on the hotel. Dinner is either at the hotel or at a restaurant that's large enough to equip a group our size. They are served. There are foods that are a mix between stuff that students will, trying to expand their palates and expand their tastes, but still things that are generally kid-friendly. However, we'll talk if your kid's a picky eater. Lunch is their time to be exploratory with their food. So if a kid is really missing home, they can absolutely, find the closest McDonald's and get a Big Mac. Or if they want to try, the delicacy of Belize, they can. So lunch is always on your own for that reason, to give you that chance to really explore. It includes entrance fees to anything that we're doing, so they're not going to have to pay extra fees if there's to go to a museum. It's all included in the price. It also includes a tour donation page, which I'll show you an example of in just a moment, the global protection plan that we talked about earlier, and the WeShare format. Things that are not included and that you are responsible for outside of the cost of the trip are the spending money for your child. So this would be your souvenirs, your lunch money, anything, snacks, things like that you're going to bring. And they estimate about $30 to $65 per day. And we'll get into more specifics about that after you're enrolled. And it really varies from family to family how much that is. Other things that are not included are tips. Our tour director, bus drivers, and local guides, their salaries are tips. The majority of our program cost, and you'll see, are the flights and the hotels and the meals. So we have been lucky enough through Talbot Youth Travel to actually fundraise all of the tip money each year. So we've never had a student have to pay this extra money. With an 8-day tour, that would be $80. So we've never had a student have to shell out this other $80 for that. We've been able to fundraise that. Other things that are not included are airport baggage fees. We've actually never had a student have any airport baggage fees because one of the things that we cover in a meeting is how to pack appropriately, and we show students how to roll their luggage, how to pack appropriately for the trip, not bringing too much, and we go through how to pack with kids. So we've never had that issue. And of course, things that you're responsible for on your own are passport fees. We are not required to have a travel visa for this trip at all, so that's a non-issue. While we're on the topic of passports, it is your responsibility, but we can absolutely and will walk you through the steps. We can even down to telling you which post office is the best one to go to. Passports are required for all travelers. It says 14 weeks here, but typically students have been getting them in 6 to 8 weeks, and you can put a rush on them a little bit quicker. It is, if you already have your passport, please make sure that your passport is valid for at least 6 months after our return date. So if we are in July 2019, that's the 7th month plus 6. That is math for Mrs. Burkhardt. I'm thinking January 2020 if I can add correctly in my head. It's pretty late at night while I'm recording this. So please make sure that your passport is valid for 6 months after July 20th, 2019. And again, we do not need visas for this trip, so don't worry about that. Yep. Now we're going to go to the last couple slides here and talk about how to reserve your spot if you'd like for your child to go or you as an adult to go. Over here on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the costs broken down. The program price is $2,900. It includes the airfare, all of those things that we discussed, the SNUBA event, the Global Protection Plan. There is a $100 early enrollment discount, and then the Peace of Mind program, that is free and included with every tour. Belize is a fairly stable country, but if for some reason there were some political turmoil and say 2 weeks before the tour, we needed to switch to another country or switch to another tour, we would not be charged for that. So if for some reason EF deems it not safe for us to go on tour, we would get our money back, or we would be able to switch to a different location at no cost to us. The grand total for students under 20 is $3,035 or 15 monthly payments of $196. As a parent, if you would like to go, the cost for you is a little bit more because EF does take advantage of student discounts and adults are roomed in a different fashion than students. Students are price booked on 3 to 4 students to a room, whereas adults are only in a twin room. So there's only 2 adults to a room. So that's why that's a little bit more expensive. But an adult wanting to go would be $3,484 or $226 a month for the next 15 months. EF does make it easier to pay by trying to figure out different options, so that way students can work out what's best for their family. In fact, we've had many students that have actually worked it out with their parents to pay for some of the costs or all of the costs themselves. I've had at least 2 students that have completely paid for this themselves with their parents kind of just supporting them along the way, making sure that they were making payments, but it was the student's responsibility. This is the donation page that I was talking about earlier. This is one of the ways that EF helps to try and make it easier. This is a fee-free donation page. So unlike a GoFundMe or other crowdfunding site, EF does not skim anything off of the top. So this, when you create your account, it also creates this page, and here's kind of like a little example here. That students and families can share on social media. You can email it out to families and friends, and anything that they donate 100% gets donated to, or applied to your balance, so that it makes your payments less. This is a great way for students to say, Grandma, instead of, giving me another sweater, could you donate to my page? $20 is $20. So something that's very helpful for students. EF does offer 3 different options for paying. They all begin with a $95 deposit, and that is, it doesn't show it there, but that's included in this price detail. So the first option is the automatic payment plan, and this is the one that I will say most people take advantage of. You get to choose whether the payments are monthly or biweekly, and if you choose monthly, you get to pick the day of the month. If you choose biweekly, you get to choose the day of the week when those payments come out. There is no additional fee to do the automatic payment plan. You can also choose to pay in full at enrollment. When you enroll, you can just pay the full balance. We've had some people do that. Absolutely no problem with that. And the third option is the manual payment plan. This one allows you as the family to decide when you want to make payments of how much. And that one is a $50 fee. It is important to note that if you choose to do the automatic payment plan, you can always make another payment at any time. So, like, for example, if you have the automatic payment plan, but you just got your tax money back and you want to, make a big chunk payment, you can absolutely always make extra payments. So that is an option. Um, there are some advantages and disadvantages to each of them. The major advantage with the annual payment plan is that you get to choose when your payments are made. So if you kind of work for yourself and you know that you only get your money and your payments, your income in certain chunks, you can chunk out your payments. The disadvantage to the manual payment plan is that it has to be paid off sooner than the other ones. The advantage to the automatic payment plan is that it gives you the longest time to pay. So the manual payment plan will have to be paid by the end of March, so that students will have to be paid in full of March 2019, whereas the automatic payment plan gives through the end of May, I believe, maybe June. I think that covers everything with that. Sorry for the pause. Quick things just to cover real quick. If you have any questions, obviously as a video meeting, you don't have an exit ticket, but please email me. My email address is right here on the screen. Or you can touch base with Shelly if you know her personally. We both can absolutely answer your questions. Through the telephone, through email. You can even meet us for a cup of coffee at Rise Up. We have no problem meeting anybody to discuss everything because we understand that this is a huge decision to make for families, and we want to make sure that you have that trust. If you want handouts on physical handouts in your hand, please have your kids stop by our classroom and we can give that to you. We can also absolutely email them. And this is the final slide. Woohoo, you've sat through the whole thing. We have covered all of the basic details about the trip. We're looking for a group of about 24 people. While the enrollment window, it says March 31st, technically it does not close, but it is important that you know that one of the ways that EF keeps prices low is that they lock in prices once you enroll, and at the end of each month as new enrollees, the price goes up by about $100. So the price difference for someone that enrolls on March 31st might be different than the price for somebody that enrolls on, say, April 15th. So I say that not to scare anybody, but please absolutely take your time and make your decision. But if you want to get the best price possible, once you've made that decision, please go ahead and enroll your child so that way you don't have to pay any more. We know that this is a huge decision to make, and we absolutely want you to feel confident in that choice for you and your family, because there is mutual trust involved. We have to trust your child just as much as you have to trust us. The easiest way to enroll is to go to the eftours.com, and then you'll need this tour number here. I will send out a direct link in a follow-up email, and there's also a direct link at the very bottom of the Talbot Youth Travel page, so if you just scroll to the bottom, you'll see that. And as always, if you have any questions, again, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you in Belize.